right, go. Welcome, creepy crawlers, to the Games Connect Us All podcast.
You're in for a wild ride of tricks and treats.
Tonight, we bring you, all the way from your computer or cell phone, a great episode of the podcast revolving around Halloween related topics. Ready? Ready to start?
Yeah, let's do this.
It started to hurt my eyes to make that
man.
smiling face. Today we're in a very dark environment because we have a very dark
Yes.
episode.
Today is our Halloween episode. At the time of this being posted, Halloween will be tomorrow. So pretty cool.
Yep. No, it'll be in 2
No,
days.
it'll be in 2 days. Yep. Sorry. Got
Ready?
my days all messed up.
Get your McDonald's Halloween buckets out and get your
candy corn. In fact, I'm gonna go grab my candy.
okay.
Here. Got my candy corn.
And then go down the street to trick or treat. But first, tell them about the Games Connect Us All podcast.
Or you could just listen to us while you're
trick or treating. Pretty creepy.
Yeah.
So, let's talk about a little small talk.
All right.
What have you been up to this week?
Nothing too crazy. I had family come visit me this weekend because today was family weekend up at my college. So that was pretty cool. It was nice seeing them again. And that's what I got to see Into the Woods yesterday.
Oh.
Yeah, it was really good. So I've only seen the movie.
I don't like the movie. Really hate
The
it.
movie is really bad compared to the stage musical. There's a character in the musical that isn't in the movie that kind of ties the entire first act together. So
what character is it?
It's the mysterious man.
Oh, yeah, no, I don't remember him from the movie.
He's not in the movie. That's the thing.
I see.
And I admit I have a problem with the musical itself because it ends twice.
Yeah, that's what I didn't like about the movie.
Well, it works much better in the musical because the intermission cuts it up and it kind of starts twice. It's just two different stories starring the same characters. And the second one is a lot darker. And I really liked it. Stephen Sondheim is a genius and great story writing, great music writing. It's not my personal favorite musical, but it's still pretty cool. And I really enjoyed it. And I got to see it with my girlfriend and my grandfather, so pretty cool.
Pretty cool.
What about you? What did you do this week?
This week, on the topic of seeing shows, this week I saw a show over at the local theater, and it was a compilation of Broadway hits.
Oh, nice.
Nothing from Into the Woods, unfortunately. But it was a pretty good show. One of our friends was in it. Let's see. The main takeaway was that the guy who runs the whole thing had a whole song in drag.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, and our little town that Connor is from, and that I reside in.
Did you just call me Quinn?
For a moment. What are we gonna do about that?
I don't know.
We have to change something, right? Because the viewers, they don't know that Quinn exists.
I mean, they can know that Quinn exists. I don't think. Are you keeping her a secret?
Yes. I feel like we need to pick a point that I could start back up from. Let's start with when you said, so what have you been doing this week?
What have you been doing this week, Jake?
This week, I've been hiding my sister.
This is blooper reel worthy.
It is. Okay, once more. Uno más.
So that's what I've been doing. What about you, Jake? What have you been doing?
I have been going to see a show this week. I'm sorry. Oh, it's only been 5 minutes and 20 seconds.
Oh my god.
Okay, I'm ready now.
So that's what I've been doing. What about you, Jake? What have you been doing?
This week, I have gone to see an amazing show at our local theater.
Nice.
A compilation of Broadway hits, one might say.
Wow.
And one of the highlight moments was the director of the whole thing had a song that he sang in drag.
Interesting.
Very interesting indeed. Now, this led me to...
What song was it?
It was called I Am What I Am.
Oh.
And it led me to discover this whole musical. And I don't know how to pronounce it. I want to say La Cage aux Folles. It's French.
Okay.
It's in English. The title's in French.
Okay.
And it's like... it's all about, like, drag as far as I can tell. And it's from, like, the 80s. So...
Really?
Yeah, pretty cool.
Huh.
I'm pretty sure there's a movie of it, so maybe we'll watch it sometime.
Yeah.
But that's the main thing I did this week. Other than that, since last week, I've honestly just been chilling.
Yeah. Same, honestly.
So what do you say we inform the listeners at home about this week's topic and how it is related to the spooky season?
Yes, why don't we? You want me to do it?
I'll do it because you're my guinea pig here.
Yeah, he's running this episode. I have no clue what's going on. I'm Frankenstein's monster and he's Frankenstein.
I am the horror expert of this podcast.
True.
This is going to be similar to one of the greatest videos ever perceived. The Mario Iceberg video.
Oh, yeah.
Which you guys should check out. It's a really fantastic video. This is almost a sequel. It's like a pseudo sequel.
Almost like the next iceberg. But
yes.
Like, we decided it's not like an actual iceberg. It's just kind of...
Yeah, it's a... I did my
homemade
research
iceberg.
Today. So today I'm going to be telling Connor and you at home about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9-ish. I can't count. Creepy conspiracy theories about video games.
Ooh.
So, they're in no particular order other than the order that I put them in for a reason, which is that I feel like, progressively get more interesting or have like themes that shift. So I think it'll keep this episode very interesting between things that we talk about today.
Okay, cool.
And I know that you're going to have some knowledge about some things on here, and you can tell us about your experiences.
Yeah.
Alrighty?
All right.
So, the video game conspiracy theories. The first one, this is like, I'd say one of the most commonly known gaming conspiracy theories is the Lavender Town theory.
I had a feeling you were going to have this one.
So I wanted to start with this one. I feel like it's entry level.
Yeah. Because, can I explain this one? Because I know this one.
Certainly.
Well. So, the Lavender Town theory. Back when Pokemon Red and Blue first came out, obviously Lavender Town is like the spooky kind of area, and then Pokemon, you climb what tower is it? It's some tower that's
dead Pokemon tower.
Yeah, it's like a graveyard for dead Pokemon.
Yeah.
You fight. This is also where like the you killed Blue's Raticate theory happens.
Mm-hmm.
So in Lavender Town, there's a song that plays. Everybody knows it at this point. Do 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 do.
Thank you.
Yeah. I actually really like the song, but back back in the day when it first came out, there were rumors that the song was evil and that it was cursed, and that um, it just caused people to do like cause people really bad harm. I think it culminated in like Japanese children like wanting to kill themselves, for lack of a better
Yes.
term.
So
Um, you can
outside
take
of
over.
the theory of it being an actual curse placed upon the song, is the theory that it is the music specifically has very high frequencies.
Yeah, that's more like what it is. It isn't
Yeah,
really cursed.
that only children could hear, and therefore when uh, Japanese children playing the original copy of the game with the original theme song played it, they would be driven to acts of harm in one way or
Yeah,
another.
yeah.
It's pretty commonly known, and however also commonly debated, that this is not true. And this never
I would
really
like.
happened.
Can I throw my hat into the ring
You
about
can
whether it's true or
you can
not?
throw your hat into the ring, but
Um, I am very hesitant. I would love to believe it's true, not because I want harm to come to Japanese children, but because
Connor wants harm to come to Japanese children. Confirmed.
um, I just think it'd be really like kind of cool, like not cool. You know what I mean?
No, I
I
don't.
if a theory that was so old like this were to actually like be true,
Mm,
like it'd be kind of cool. Um, but the thing is, I know how the song chip on the Game Boy and the NES, they all worked. So you could only have three-part harmony on them. Um, one of them had to be like a bass line, the other two could be like um, intervals or whatever. So you already hear three parts on it. So the frequency that you're hearing is the frequency that it is, and I guess it could be overtones
right, that's what I've
that
assumed.
but I don't know. I feel like the theory is like assuming that there's like an extra frequency up top, because if it's overtones, the game, they could never really remove that from the game.
Right, no matter what they did. And it would be
Right.
in a ton of games, too.
Right.
However, the theory was most likely inspired by an actual incident that actually happened with Pokemon, which was the Electric Soldier Porygon incident.
Oh,
The episode of the Pokemon anime that gave people actual seizures.
yeah. And
And
to this day, Porygon 2 and Porygon Z are the only Pokemon not to show up in the anime.
it's true. But it's pretty commonly accepted that the Lavender Town crisis was more just inspired by that, and that's how it got started and misinterpreted.
Oh.
So that's our entry level theory. And
Okay.
the next one, I just wanted to get this one out of the way because I thought it was so ridiculous.
Okay.
All right, so this one I titled PS2 Warfare. Have you ever heard of this?
Yes, I watched like one video about it earlier, just to, like refresh my memory on some of the more popular ones. I
Right.
did see this one. This is kind of ridiculous.
So more than 4,000 PlayStation 2 consoles were shipped to Iraq in a short period of time, which led people to believe that Saddam Hussein was stockpiling PlayStation 2s to make a missile guidance system.
Yep.
This is not true.
Do you know why this became like a thing besides that?
No.
Apparently the marketing campaign for the PS2 is that it was more powerful than like any other computer in the world.
That's right.
Like, so that's why it was like there were some like right-wing websites that were like, "Oh my God, this is awful," And that's how it all got started.
Right. It's not really in the. I feel like it's more outside of the gaming community, to be honest.
Right. That's just more of a conspiracy theory in general.
Yeah, and it's also, I feel like, pretty commonly spread by people who are against video games in some way or another.
Right. Oh no.
You okay over there?
Yeah, I'm great.
Are you
I'm
sure?
dropping I'm dropping my leftovers
Oh,
on the ground.
you're leaving a candy corn trail for
Yeah.
Saddam Hussein to follow.
Saddam Hussein to follow, yep.
So,
So we can harm little
yeah.
Japanese boys.
Yes, the two theories are connected. He used the power of the PS2 to write the Lavender Town theme.
Yes, it's all coming together.
So, this next theory is kind of in contrast with the last theory because this theory was actually proven true.
Oh.
I think you probably know of this one. The
Okay.
ET landfill.
I know of it. I don't know. I don't know what what the specifics are of it though.
Okay, so there was a theory in the 1980s that the company Atari disposed of 10,000 games in New Mexico and buried them in the desert because of the video game crash and the failure of ET.
Yeah,
Um,
and that was
so
proven true.
it was actually for until 2014 seen as a conspiracy theory made to dramatize the video game crash. However, in 2014, Microsoft worked with the government of New Mexico to excavate the site that people believed they were buried at, and they were actually successful in finding a lot of buried games and Atari hardware in the middle of the desert.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
You know what? You know what's actually more crazy about that?
What?
Both Microsoft and the government of New Mexico signed off on that.
Right? They were so sure.
Let's go. Let's go dig in the desert so we can find a bunch of old buried video games.
And now the part where it is kind of conspiracy-y is that this was apparently like this happened like next door to Area 51.
Whoa.
So that's what kind of piles it in with being like spooky to people.
Ooh. I see.
Although
I see.
it's not that incredibly spooky. But I don't see how it's connected to Area 51 except for like ET is an alien.
Right.
So that is the ET landfill, which I think
We have
is
to
a
talk
very
about the
interesting
video
story.
game crash at some point.
Yeah.
I just have to do like some research on it because I don't know everything about it. I just know like,
Right. I think we could get to it though.
yeah.
And I also know this conspiracy theory was featured in the Angry Video Game Nerd movie somehow. I don't know if you know
That
what
makes
that is,
sense.
but I watched
I
that
know.
movie and a long time ago, and it is like a blur to me now. But I remember something about searching for the landfill.
I think that I think that yeah. I've never seen it, but I think that is something that does exist in that movie.
I think
So
that actually popularized the theory a lot,
that makes sense.
and it was around the time that it was proven to be true, too. So, our next theory. This one is one that actually kind of creeps me out.
Okay.
So this is the Deepwater Horizon disaster.
Oh, I was gonna send this one to you. Yeah.
So I have some specific details about it. I don't know if you know
You
them.
can go ahead with this
but
one. With this one.
in the game Fallout 3, there's like this radio you talk on or something. I've never played it.
Right.
But it is occasionally interrupted by numbers and Morse code. So the numbers are 945-420-2010. And the Morse code translates to accident in the Gulf, several dead, oil spill averted. Now,
Oh man.
yeah. So 2 years after the game's released, an oil rig exploded in the Gulf of Mexico, creating the largest marine oil spill ever. But that's
Blackwater Horizon.
you could say that's a coincidence, right?
Right.
But here's the damning evidence. The numbers in the code 945-420-2010 actually correlate to something. So the incident happened on April 20th, 2010, and the last 6 numbers of that code, or the last 7 numbers of that code, are 420-2010, which is 4/20/10.
Right. And isn't it like only 10 minutes off? Like if the other
Yep.
numbers are like only 10
The
minutes off.
actual explosion happened at 9:54, and the first 3 numbers are 9:45. But who's to not to say that whatever caused the explosion could have happened at 9:45?
Right.
So that one creeps me out because there's no real
There's no explanation to why
like
that.
that is 100% in the game, and the historical thing 100% happened. So
Right.
if it's a coincidence, it's a pretty crazy one. I don't see
Well,
how they could even be connected.
there's a bigger conspiracy um that it is goes outside the realm of video games in particular, but it's it, that the government instills some sort of like things, like they somehow know about important events that are going to happen in the future, and they are able to, in different forms of media, they instill like these jokes or these different things that um for some reason warn or just like
To put it in
talk
your
about
head.
put it in your head about things that are going to happen in the future, and this is part of that. The Simpsons is a big
I was just gonna
example of
say
that.
that with the Donald Trump
Yeah.
presidency on The Simpsons and like a million other things on The Simpsons.
Right. It's kind of crazy to think about because I can't tell you how many times I've like watched a movie or something and I've been like, that's pretty crazy because that kind of happened in real life.
Right.
Um,
There's one I didn't put on the list for this episode. I can't remember exactly what it was, but that was all about that. Something
oh,
that predicted something. I can't
can't
remember
remember.
exactly what it is, but maybe at the start of the next episode, if I can get it back out, I'll mention it.
Right.
So our next conspiracy theory is less of a theory and more of a something in a game. It's called the Children of Goldshire. Have you ever heard of this?
No, this is one I haven't heard of.
Okay. So this is actually an Easter egg in World of Warcraft,
Okay.
where in the town of Goldshire, there are 6 children that are in the formation of a pentagram.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so that, I mean, obviously has been seen by a lot of people, but you can actually follow these children to a place called Crystal Lake on the map, which is probably a reference to Camp Crystal Lake from the Friday the 13th movies.
Right. Right.
And you can go into this house, and the 6 children go in the house, and like if you go into the room where they are, the game says you will die
Oh
to
my
you.
God.
Yeah. So
Is this
like
something that like is confirmed happens in the game?
yeah.
Like this is like something that
Yeah.
actually happens?
So it's not really a conspiracy theory, but it's something that freaked a lot of people out. Well, also because World of Warcraft is such a huge game.
Right.
Uh, but it was most likely a reference to the film Children of the Corn.
Oh, does that happen in Children of the Corn?
I mean, it's about children worshiping Satan,
Oh,
and the
okay. Yeah.
reference is children worshiping Satan. So it's either a reference to a movie such as Children of the Corn, or Blizzard is secretly worshiping Satan.
I don't know. They do make the Diablo games, don't they?
Yeah. So maybe Blizzard is a Satan worshiping cult.
With all the stupidity surrounding
I know.
Overwatch 2. Maybe you never know.
It's all a conspiracy. So this next one I'm sure you know about. The Madden Curse.
Yes, I do know this one as well.
I feel like I couldn't leave this one off. And all of these are pretty well known, so I didn't expect you to really not know any of them.
Right.
But I thought it'd be fun. So, but I have some statistics. Of the 22 players who have ever been featured on the cover of the Madden video games, guess how many of them have suffered the Madden curse?
All but one, I'll say.
That's not true.
You
overestimated it. 16.
Oh.
16 of the 22 have suffered injuries or have had abruptly short seasons the year after they were featured on the cover of the game.
I see.
Which is like
that's insane.
So from 19, I believe it was from 1998 to 2014 or 13, every year the player featured on the Madden cover would either have a short season or be injured in the season after the game came out.
Wow.
So there's no real explanation behind this.
You know what it could be?
What could it be?
It could be that like the player is like riding high on the idea like I'm on the video game now. Even if I don't
they're
do
overconfident from being on the video game.
Well, that and also they have more security in their job because now they're being paid probably royalties by this by EA. So
right.
they don't feel as much pressure to do super well during their season.
That could
and
be
then obviously that plays into injuries. They make a stupid decision and they weren't thinking straight, and you know.
So EA actually made a statement about the Madden curse.
Oh, really?
And they said that their explanation was that kind of similar to yours actually, was that the injuries happened because if you take someone and highlight them at the peak of their career, then it's only natural that they're going to regress after the peak of their career.
That's fair too. Yeah, that's a good explanation as well.
So that's what EA said. I personally think it's a little too weird for either of those explanations.
It is strange. That is like kind of scary. That borders on like almost I believe that. Like right. I just realized that I can see the like that's the people in my room. Like I can see it in my camera, and that's kind of freaking me out a little bit.
If the viewer zooms in right now, they can see a little face looking in through your peephole.
Yep, totally.
All right.
Well, usually I have like 5 lights on in my room when we're recording.
That's true. This is pretty dang spooky. So also on here, I put the Mario 64 is personalized.
Yes.
Which we spoke about in the Mario 64 Iceberg.
If you haven't seen the Mario 64 Iceberg video, go watch that right now or listen to that now.
You need to watch it. It's like a slow burn, certainly, but by the end, I'm just curious to know if people will be right there with us with how creeped out we were by the end.
Probably not. They'll probably
be like, these guys are fucking stupid.
Yeah, we were really freaked out over nothing. I like thought I was seeing the Wario apparition for like days afterwards.
So this one does go hand in hand with another theory that I thought about not including, but what the hell, because this one's on here. So, and it more relates to the general gaming things outside of just Mario 64, but there's a theory that Mario 64, every copy of it is personalized to you as an individual, and your copy of Super Mario 64 is meant to scare you or do something psychological to you, which we had a very long conversation about in said episode. However, this relates to the theory that what is the name of the guy who makes Mario games?
Shigeru
Miyamoto. Is that he sabotaged the company Rare. Do you know of that theory?
Yeah.
So they the theory basically says, and I'm doing this kind of off the top of my head, I don't really have it written down, but that, oh god, I've got a horrible itch on my ankle.
Oh no.
That he was more concerned with gameplay of games, and thought the gameplay was more important. But that Donkey Kong Country, which was developed by Rare, became the number 2 best-selling game on the console, mostly because of its, at the time, stunning graphics.
Right.
Which apparently made Shigeru Miyamoto very mad. But their bond between Rare and Nintendo came to an end when Nintendo asked Rare to make one of the Rare original games into a Star Fox sequel.
That's a theory as well. That's not confirmed.
Really? I thought that was true.
No, it's I don't remember what the name of the Rare original is, but it's a theory that they that Nintendo forced them to change it to Star Fox Adventures.
Oh, see, I thought that was actually confirmed based on what I read,
no,
but
no,
you can read anything on the internet these days.
I believe it's a theory.
That sounds more right.
It's something that would have thrown away years of work for the development team and everything, and just would have been. It's something that definitely would have like put a huge damper on team morale and the bond between Nintendo and Rare.
Right.
To the point where they shut it down.
So this theory,
and Star Fox Adventures was the last Rare game for Nintendo consoles as well,
which is what led to that theory.
Yeah.
And this goes hand in hand with the Mario 64 theory, which is that the personalization software in Super Mario 64 was stolen from Rare, and that's why he sabotaged them.
Ooh, I didn't even think about that.
Put it in Super Mario 64. Yeah. So that's how those two theories coincide, and that's how.
Why don't you explain a little bit the personalization theory?
I don't want to.
You don't want to? Are you gonna get too freaked out?
I'm gonna get a little freaked out.
You scared? You little bitch.
No. There's a pretty long story behind it, and I think that going down the entire iceberg explains it best.
That's
because
true.
Everything on the iceberg is caused by this theory. For those of you who don't want to watch the video, I did have a pretty freaky experience with Super Mario 64 and a dream that I had about the game that I then found the exact dream that I had on the wiki article while we were preparing to make that episode a couple weeks ago. So that episode is definitely worth a watch if you want to hear about that creepy thing. And it is very Halloween-y. Looking back, I wish we had saved it for Halloween, but
I didn't know it was going to be so creepy.
Right. But the Mario 64 personalization is basically like there's a software that takes what you think and either some versions of the theory say that it like conjures your worst nightmares in the game, which I mean, I don't know anyone who's actually had that happen to them. But the other theory is just that it like is specifically meant to make you feel a certain way while you're playing the game. Little various quirks in the game, and I feel like that's something that we can all relate to.
Yeah, because everybody's had a little bit of a different experience with it. Like, you always feel like you're being watched to some degree.
Right.
Now I'm starting to get a little bit freaked. Why is this the thing that's freaking me out?
I don't know. Something about being watched.
Yeah, something about being watched when you're playing a game is kind of weird.
Yeah. And just the idea that it almost feels like it's feeding on you while you're playing it.
Yeah.
Pretty creepy.
Well, anyway, let's move on.
Okay, so this one is one half of this is much more well supported than the other half. But this is the Jeff Daly incident.
I don't know this one.
Never heard of this one?
No.
Okay. So in January of 1981, an 18-year-old boy named Jeff Daly broke the record on the game Berserk.
Okay.
And he had a score of 16,660.
And that score is confirmed too, right? Like, that's true.
Yes, that's confirmed. And immediately after he set the record, he died of a heart attack. So, that happens sometimes.
That happens. I set a world record.
You could have a heart attack at any time, right? But
right.
However, his good friend, apparently, allegedly they were friends, Peter Burkowski, later broke his record. And then after that, he beat his own record only 15 minutes after beating his first record. And after beating the second record, he immediately died of a heart attack on April 3rd of 1982. So, the second death of Peter Burkowski is much more well documented than the first death, actually.
Really? I thought it was the other way around.
But the creator of the game Berserk claims that only one death really occurred, and that it was because the game was so exhilarating.
And that's what he said. That's like his official statement.
That's what I read, at least. And his statement that the game was so good that it gave you a heart attack actually boosted the sales of the game.
That's kind of funny.
It's like morbid, isn't it?
Yeah, a little bit.
So that's the Jeff Daly incident. That one really creeps me out because it's real. And it's not really even a conspiracy. It's just like
something that happened that's really creepy.
Yeah.
I thought they got the same score. I thought that's what what it was.
Well, I don't know how many people have beat the score of 16,660. So people say that if you reach that score or go beyond it, then you'll die.
You die. Right.
All right. So this brings us through that was kind of the stuff that I actually
What are we on right now?
We're towards, to be honest, we're towards the end, but the ones that we have to talk about are like the meat and potatoes.
Okay. So why don't we do our segment here?
Yeah, we're going to hop into a quick segment of the recommendation station. Welcome to the recommendation station. Welcome to the recommendation station, your source for all things recommendation related.
Yes.
So, this segment, we will both recommend a Halloween movie.
Yeah.
To clarify, we will not recommend a Halloween movie every time we do this segment.
Yeah, this is simply something that we're doing this time since it's our Halloween episode. For future recommendation stations, we'll be recommending a variety of things, whether it's video games, music, movies, books,
products,
anything. Products, yeah. It's just our something that we want to talk about that probably won't be talked about in the podcast in any meaningful way. So let's get into this. So, Jake, what is your recommendation for a Halloween movie?
Thought long and hard about this, to be fully honest, because there's a lot of Halloween movies out there.
Okay.
But I don't want to go with my obvious pick, which would be Halloween.
Halloween, yeah. That's what I thought you were going to say.
Which I do recommend, highly recommend. It's my favorite Halloween movie. Okay. But I want to highlight... Ooh, my butt.
Okay. You want to highlight your butt? Oh my god.
Oh god.
Jake, this is a
I'm sorry.
It's not family friendly, but this is a not monetized either. This is a YouTube platform event. You can't be showing your ass on here. This is an event, Jake. You should know that.
So I want to recommend to you all the movie Jennifer's Body.
Oh.
You ever heard of that?
I didn't know that. I didn't know it was a Halloween movie. I've never seen it.
Oh, I mean, it's a horror movie. I don't know if it's... I mean, it's not specifically Halloween. I think that's kind of hard to find. But a movie that you could watch this Halloween.
Okay. Do you know where we can find these?
Jennifer's Body is on something. Can confirm.
Something.
I watched it.
I want to say it's Showtime.
It might be Showtime. You might be able to watch this movie on Showtime. Are you checking?
I'm looking it up, bro.
Okay. Anyway.
Oh, it's on Disney Plus.
I don't believe that.
Hang on.
I don't believe you. Anyways, I'm gonna.
It's on Disney Plus.
Is it actually?
Yeah.
Watch this.
It's the first.
Check it
First thing
out
that
on
comes
Disney
up.
Plus. It's on.
Wow.
I think it might be on Hulu too.
It's on several of them, but Disney Plus is the main one that
Wow.
you're probably going to be able to watch it on.
So anyway, Jennifer's Body. I've been thinking about it a lot. I feel like it was pretty shitty overall. But there's got to be some sort of deeper message to it. That's why I'm recommending it to all of you. So you can comment on this video and tell me what is the deeper meaning.
I see. Going that
Because
route.
yeah, because there's got to be something about feminism here. And I just can't figure it out. So watch it and then we'll have a discussion.
Is it even like a scary movie?
No, it's scary. No, I just picked a random movie. You can watch it on Halloween.
That's what I thought you were doing for a second.
No, Jennifer's Body's a horror movie.
Okay, because you were like it's not really a Halloween movie. But that's kind of hard to define. But this is a movie that you can watch on Halloween, and I'm like,
no, it's a horror movie. I just don't know if it actually takes place on Halloween.
Well, no, a Halloween movie. I guess we could have defined that a little bit, but just a scary movie, scary-ish.
Yes, Jennifer's Body is certainly meant to be scary.
Okay.
Some of it is pretty goofy, but it's got to be saying something. But I like the main actress a lot. Not Jennifer, but the other girl.
Okay.
That's my recommendation. Come back and we'll talk about it. Send me an email.
Send me an email. We have a Twitter and a TikTok now, by the way.
It's true. Comment on my TikTok.
Both are at GCUA Podcast. Shameless plug. Moving on. My recommendation is a classic. Everyone knows it. Scream.
I don't know why I had a feeling that you didn't come up with the movie. And that you were just gonna sit there and be like, this is certainly a movie that came out.
Yeah,
it's a classic. People know of it, and this is what it is.
Yeah, here it is. I'm gonna say it right now. No, the original Scream movie. I think it came out in 1991. It is a spoof on like the 80s thriller movies where like Halloween, Friday the 13th, Freddy Krueger, stuff like that. It's about all of the. It's a spoof on those, so it's kind of like a comedy to some degree. Not entirely. Like there's just a lot of funny moments in it. But the mystery is actually really compelling. The characters are really interesting. There's several twists in it that are actually like insane. It stars Courtney Cox. It doesn't star Courtney Cox. Courtney Cox is in it. Who's the other guy? Shaggy. Fuck. What's his name? Shaggy.
I cannot remember his name right now.
Shaggy Scooby Doo. Matthew Lillard. That's his name. Matthew Lillard is in it. I don't remember who the main actress is, but yeah, it's a good movie. Definitely I recommend it even when it's not Halloween. Honestly, it's just a really solid movie. I've never seen any of the other Scream movies, despite Scream being like my favorite movie of all time. But
wow,
I need to. I'm planning on watching that with my girlfriend. So yeah. Also, I heard like the newer Scream, like it's just called Scream. I heard that's really good.
I liked it. I saw it.
Is it like a remake of the original, or is it just like
it's just Scream 5.
Okay.
Really good though.
Cool.
I think you'd like it. I liked it, and I don't have a lot of knowledge about the other ones, but I do know that the first Scream caused a screamification of horror movies.
How so?
Movies, it was so big and such a big deal that it separated the old like slasher genre from the new slasher genre, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So, like,
okay.
I Know What You Did Last Summer. It's very Screamified. Versus if it was made before Scream. I don't know if it was made before, but if it was made in the 80s, I Know What You Did Last Summer would be a lot more like Halloween and Friday the 13th. But Scream kind of was like a revolution, and like the movie Halloween H2O was like Screamified Halloween.
What do you mean by Screamified? Like, define that word.
Define Screamified? They're just more like
Yeah.
Scream. Like less
But like
serious,
in
more
what?
about the
Okay,
kills.
less serious.
Less serious, more about like the kills. Sometimes the kills are funny.
Yeah.
And like taking itself less serious and being all about like, I don't know. Like there's like a certain group that is always represented in those movies.
That's fair. Okay. I
You know what I
get what you're
mean?
saying now.
And a lot of
Yeah.
movies after that, especially like horror movies of the 90s, all like look the same and feel the same.
Yeah.
They've all been
Well,
screamified.
the thing is, Scream is like the movie Scream feels to me, it feels like an 80s horror movie. Like it doesn't feel like a 90s horror movie to me.
Mm.
It feels like I honestly didn't know it came out in the 90s for a long time. I thought it came out like
Oh.
late 80s and it was just like kind of making fun of the popularity of the other 80s horror movies.
Right.
I had no clue that it was uh I I think it stands side by side with Halloween and Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street. And honestly, this might cause some waves between us, Jake, but I think that it's better than all of those.
I
I
haven't seen the original, so I can't say.
you should definitely watch it. You would love it, I feel
I like the new one a lot. I know a lot about it, but I've never seen it.
It's something you have to watch. I
Right.
think you would really love it.
It was also what I also mean by screamification is I feel like after Scream came out, you couldn't make Halloween anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you
Yeah.
couldn't make one of those movies because it's just like, well, Scream already did a commentary on us and made us look stupid.
Right. Okay, that makes sense.
So, and then a lot of horror movies were more like Scream.
Yeah.
Wow, so that was a long segment.
Right. Well, here before we end it off, I do want to say, have you ever seen the first Friday the 13th?
Yes, with my dad a long time ago.
We watched like the first 3 of them a couple years ago. The first one is so stupid. It's like
I like the
not that
first one.
it's not scary at all, and like the kills are just the people are just dumb. They played like strip poker in like a
Yeah.
camp with no electricity.
I mean, to be fair, they didn't think someone was gonna kill them.
Right, but like, didn't one girl like know something was wrong, and then she goes to like take a shower or something?
I think so.
Yeah, it's something.
I really
It
don't
was
remember. I
something.
just remember the mom, and I really liked the mom. It was like Anti-Psycho, where the mom was the killer for the son.
Right.
That's why I thought
Yeah,
it was cool.
it's I like that movie. I like the idea of that movie because it's not Jason. Jason's not the
Yeah.
killer in that one. It's Jason's mom, and that's I come to think of it. That's something that's pointed out right in the beginning of Scream. You have to have watched
The opening sequence.
the opening scene of Scream
Yeah.
before. Yeah, okay, because that's iconic. That is,
Yeah.
if you were to show any slasher film scene in and like to like tell somebody this is what a slasher is. Like I feel like, well, no, that's a lie, because that's not very slasher-esque. Like I feel like uh Michael Myers going up behind somebody and stabbing them is more like slasher.
Yeah, that's like slasher.
Good.
Still
I should
though,
say
the start
good.
of Scream is
Good.
good suspense building.
Yeah, good thriller writing. I guess I should say. Thriller movie is better than slasher in that sense.
Now you made me think of what is it called? Scary Movie. Have you ever seen Scary Movie?
I saw the first like 20 minutes of it.
I love
I need
Scary
to watch the rest
Movie.
of it. It's Scream. Like I believe the first one is Scream.
Yeah,
like,
the first one's a
based on
parody of Scream. It's pretty funny. At least that's what I thought when I saw it, which was a while ago now, but not so long ago that I was too young to understand it, but that I was like 14 and I was like
I remember my parents one time. I had a friend over and we watched what was it? It was Ouija. Oh, we watched like the second Ouija
Oh
movie.
God,
Okay.
Ouija. That's like the worst movie.
I hate horror movies. I want to say that right up front. I do not like horror movies. They scare me too much. Um, Thriller movies I like, slasher movies I like, but like paranormal, like
Like The
like
Conjuring,
horror movie, The Conjuring. Trying to think
Annabelle.
what other ones. Annabelle, the Ouija movies. I don't like them. My parents and my friend really wanted to watch Ouija 2, so we watched Ouija 2, and it honestly it wasn't bad. Like it was scary, but it wasn't like terrifying, I guess.
Yeah.
The main thing I remember was like I think there's a point where somebody looks through a mirror and like they can see something behind them, and that kind of freaks me out for a little while.
I don't like those.
I don't like those either because I already get freaked out that something's behind me in a mirror.
Or right now.
Sometimes. Well, Jake, you're suspended in the fucking void over there, so you can literally roll your chair back and like you could disappear. Like
You just freaked me out because I thought you were gonna say you could roll your chair back and bump into someone. And that really creeped me out.
I wasn't
for
gonna
a
say
second.
that. I mean, you could.
Hello?
There could be somebody standing right there.
There's
you just
nobody.
disappeared. You just disappeared when you turned around. It's terrifying. Holy shit. Oh my god, that's a thumbnail. That's a thumbnail. Oh my god. Holy shit.
Did I jump scare you, Connor?
No, because I could see you, just barely.
Oh.
You look like a analog horror like
Oh my god.
picture. You know what I'm talking about.
Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Anyway, we watched Ouija that night, and my parents. I was like freaked out. And my parents were like, "All right, we're gonna go to bed. If you guys want to watch a scary movie, we'll put it on for you, but we're not gonna watch it with you." So we're like, "Okay." We watched like 20 minutes of that. We watched like the up to the part where she gets like stabbed and like her breast implant comes out or whatever.
Oh yeah.
That's it. We turned it off. Not because we didn't want to, we just got talking about something else.
Right.
We never finished it.
Scary movie is the perfect remedy. That's our combined recommendation, let's say. If you're scared after a movie, watch Scary Movie to ease your fear.
Yeah, it's funny. I want to watch one of the one that's like based on Paranormal Activity. I feel like it's really funny.
I feel like we could talk about this all day, but I think we should get to our final two conspiracy
We should talk about video games in our video game podcast.
All right. We'll see you back in the episode, everybody. See you.
I can't disappear into the void. I'm sorry.
Goodbye, everybody.
Jake, that is thumbnail material. Come on.
And we're back.
Yeah.
With more conspiracy theories about video games. Welcome. And don't be scared if this next conspiracy theory is scary. Are you okay, Connor?
Yeah, I'm great.
Okay, let's do it then. I wanted to talk with you. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm great. What's up?
You're scaring me.
Why am I scaring you?
I'm
excited to talk about these conspiracy theories.
If anyone's listening on audio, Connor, stop this shit right now.
What? What am I doing? What are you talking about?
Connor, I'll kill you. I really will. This is so bad. Please stop. Please stop.
What?
You're doing this to me.
What? What?
The people listening without looking are going to be very confused.
What? What's wrong?
Connor, do you... Why are you doing this?
I just started like foaming at the mouth.
So is that how we're starting this?
I guess.
All right. I think that the people at home will be scared and the people listening will be confused. So
yes,
good combination.
Yes.
So let's talk about a pretty creepy conspiracy theory.
Right.
Been around for a long time, just like us. Have you heard the story of Herobrine?
Yeah.
So, I want to talk about Herobrine.
Okay, let's talk about Herobrine.
I'm going to give you a brief history. So, the first story and image ever posted about Herobrine are regarded as canonical. Don't know what this means, but this is the Minecraft wiki talking. And everything after that is fan-made adaptations of the original story. Does that make sense?
The first one was probably like posted by somebody like working with Mojang or something.
The first one, I guess just like the first one started it, and that's why it's canonical. I don't know what they mean by canonical, but everything after that is like nonsense.
Okay.
But I don't want to say that too soon as we get into this here.
I'm gonna look up and see what like the first image of Herobrine is. Well, you can keep going.
Okay, so getting right to it. Herobrine started as a creepypasta. I don't know if you knew that.
I did know that.
And the original creepy... Should I read the original creepypasta to you all?
If you want.
A dramatic performance. I think we should.
I think we should.
Okay, here we go. I had recently spawned a new world in single-player Minecraft. Everything was normal at first as I began chopping down trees and crafting a workbench. I noticed something move amongst the dense fog. I have a very slow computer, so I have to play with tiny render distance. I thought it was a cow, so I pursued it, hoping to grab some hides for my armor. It wasn't a cow, though. Looking back at me was another character with the default skin, but his eyes were empty.
Oh my god, Jake.
What?
You're like the face of God right now.
Am I actually? Am I like...
Yeah,
I'm like, Herobrine.
You're Herobrine, oh my god.
Looking back at me was another character with the default skin, but his eyes were empty. I saw no name pop up, and I double-checked to make sure I wasn't in multiplayer mode. He didn't stay long. He looked at me and quickly ran into the fog. I pursued out of curiosity, but he was gone. I continued on with the game, not sure what to think. As I expanded the world, I saw things that seemed out of place for the random generator to make. 2x2 tunnels in the rocks, small, perfect pyramids made of sand in the ocean, and groves of trees with all their leaves cut off. I would constantly think I saw the other player in the deep fog, but I never got a better look at him. I tried increasing my render distance to far whenever I thought I saw him, but to no avail. I saved the map and went on the forums to see if anyone else had found the pseudo player. There were none. I created my own topic telling of the man and asking if anyone had a similar experience. The post was deleted within 5 minutes. I tried again, and the topic was deleted even faster. I received a private message from username Herobrine containing one word: stop. When I went to look at Herobrine's profile, the page 404'd. I received an email from another forum user. He claimed the mods can read the forum user messages, so we were safer using email. The emailer claimed that he had seen the mystery player too, and had a small directory of other users who had seen him as well. Their worlds were littered with obviously man-made features as well, and described their mystery player to have no pupils. About a month passed until I heard from my informant again. Some of the people who had encountered the mystery man had looked into the name Herobrine, and found that name to be frequently used by a Swedish gamer. After some further information gathering, it was revealed to be the brother of Notch, the game's developer. I personally emailed Notch and asked him if he had a brother. It took him a while, but he emailed me back a very short message. I did, but he is no longer with us.
Ooh.
I haven't seen the mystery man since our first encounter, and I haven't noticed any changes to the world other than my own. I was able to press print screen when I first saw him. Here's the only evidence I have of his existence. And then there's a picture that I'm sure you've all seen of Herobrine. Are you spooked out yet?
That actually kind of was kind of scary.
A little bit of a spooky story, right?
Not gonna lie, I got a little bit freaked out.
So,
I didn't know that it translated to like Reddit and like forums and stuff.
Right. So from the original creepypasta, it's pretty well known that Herobrine creates random constructions like sand pyramids and 2x2 tunnels. So I want to ask before we get further into the Herobrine lore, have you ever experienced Herobrine?
I'm not sure. I would like to. I have experiences where I thought at the time that it was, but looking back, it probably was just like my friends messing with me or something. Um, I wholeheartedly believe that he at one point existed in the game, not to the extent where it is like uh some freaking dead guy from Sweden that is like a mod on the Minecraft forums or whatever. But I think that there probably was a glitch in Minecraft at some point that caused structures to be generated that Lookman made, and that they or a player model to be shown when it shouldn't have been. I feel like that is a pretty common thing to happen. Um, and it's even weirder that Minecraft themselves have like Mojang has acknowledged the existence of Herobrine. And every patch besides I think up to like one of the last like major updates, it included in the patch notes Herobrine is no longer in the game.
Right.
Um, and people got scared after they stopped adding that they added him to the game. Um, but I don't know.
Right.
I think it would be really cool if someday they secretly added a Herobrine mob that like appeared like one out of every like million
That would be
games or
crazy
something.
if
Like
that
like
happened.
in every one out of a million worlds, you're able to um somebody's able like you're able to find Herobrine or something.
Yeah, I used to think that would be really cool. I mean, I still think it would be something interesting for them to do.
I feel like it'd be cool for like a Halloween update or something.
Right. Secret update. Anyway,
We're going on to the big one.
no, we're not done
No?
with
Okay.
Herobrine.
Okay.
I actually, I used to really believe that Herobrine was in one of my worlds on my Xbox.
That's that. Here's the thing. The Xbox was the most encounters that I had with Herobrine.
Right. I haven't really had anything on like when I switched to PC,
Right. It was always the Xbox that I had like things with.
but it's solo when you're playing solo.
Right.
Um, so I actually found a house on one of my Minecraft worlds that I'm just assuming that one of my friends just like built. Well, like they either were at my house and I was like sleeping and they played on my Xbox and built it, or like I accidentally left the world open and they joined it. But I found a house, one house in the middle of nowhere
Huh.
on my world, and my heart, when I saw that I was walking, I was like, I want to explore my world a little bit. And I walked in one direction and it wasn't really even close to where I was. And I like just sitting there, like at the end of my render distance, there was a house built. And like my heart, I just remember I will never forget because my TV used to be right up here, and I was standing in front of it with my Xbox controller, and just the way that I felt my heart like drop when I saw a house in the distance that I hadn't built, and it was alone. It was not in a village. And I paused the game and I put my controller down and I made my sister come watch me because I was so scared. Go up to the house, and it was just like it was just like a basic house.
I feel like I've had a similar experience
Yeah.
where I like had something that wasn't right, and I like had my parents come in and be like, "Can you guys watch me for a second? I
Can you
need to."
watch me? I'm kind of scared.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That definitely happened.
You know what it probably was? part of it probably was that at least for me, I watched a lot of like Minecraft YouTubers, and I watched a lot of like videos like this where I would watch like video game
Yeah,
conspiracy
me too.
theories. So it always, yeah,
Be nervous.
right.
I felt like solo Minecraft felt to me. Are you okay? Connor, don't do this to me right now. Stop. Cut your shit out. Always kind of gave me the same feeling that I had with Super Mario 64.
Yeah.
Being watched.
Right.
I feel like that feeling you have when you're playing alone and you know that you're alone in like this giant world. Just the morbid curiosity. If Herobrine doesn't exist, he exists within us.
Right.
Because there needs to be some explanation for the world being empty, void of anything.
Yeah.
So your mind
I
just like generates
I
this
honestly,
idea of someone who's watching you.
on the topic of like Minecraft and like theories like about the game, I feel like MatPat has done a really good job constructing like a lore for for the game.
Yeah,
Have
I've
you
watched
watched any
them.
of them?
I can't remember them, but I think that his
It's
explanation
along
is
the
right.
lines of like there was an ancient race of
Yeah,
builders that were like Steve, and it revolves around a few theories like that the pillagers are um like experimented on things and like tried to try to be like the ancient builders, and that the end is where the builders went to try to uh like escape the wither. That was terrifying.
you're
Oh my
terrified.
god. Oh my god.
For the
For
listeners,
con for
the light
context,
outside of my
yeah.
house just turned on because like someone's home or something.
Oh my god, that's scary.
Yeah, it is a little scary.
But
Panic. Oh my god, panic. I panic so hard.
you're about ready to run.
Yeah, I was.
um anyway, um yeah, it oh, Endermen are like Steve and like stuff like that. Like
Yeah.
he's done a pretty good job of like explaining things that don't have an explanation and that like the developers refuse to give an explanation for.
Right. Um yeah, I feel like Herobrine as a whole is something that uh Minecraft players of our age will always have some vivid memory of.
Actually, I do have a memory that I'd like to share. And just like that, you're plunged into darkness.
Yep.
Um, I was over at my friend's house. Um, I wasn't great friends with this guy, but I occasionally went over to his house and hung out. And I remember we were playing Minecraft on his Xbox, and just these weird things started happening. It was only one player. We only had the one player on. Um, and we were just walking around, and something would happen, and we were like scared that Herobrine was in our world. I just remember sharing that experience with him, and looking back, he probably was messing with me, but I
That
don't
would
know.
make sense. I tried to prank my friends into believing that Herobrine was around a lot.
Yeah, I did too, because like that was like the go-to thing to prank your friends for.
Right. I was like obsessed with trying to spawn Herobrine into my world.
Oh wow.
I think that's why I convinced myself that he was real too.
Yeah, I definitely convinced myself that he was real.
I built a lot of those like golden things with netherrack and
Mm-hmm.
red torches to try to summon him to life, but I was unsuccessful. So that's Herobrine. Are you ready to get into our last topic?
Yeah,
I'm sure
this
you
is the big
know where
one.
we're going.
Yeah,
Polybius.
I love this one.
When did you first hear about Polybius?
It was in a video just like this. I remember watching the video and just being like, that sounds really cool. I want to play this game. And then they're like, this game doesn't exist. What?
Yeah. I first heard about it actually in the Angry Video Game Nerd video about it.
I think that was one of the first ones that I
Mm-hmm.
watched too.
So, fun fact Polybius was actually in an episode of Loki.
Was it?
Yeah, I don't know how many. I don't know if it's a well known thing, but I noticed it when I was watching that there's a Polybius arcade cabinet in the background of one of the scenes.
Oh, nice.
Like when they're in an alternate universe or something. So I thought that was a pretty cool meta
That was
reference.
really cool.
And it's also been featured in like music videos, and there have been obviously some adaptations of what people think the game is like. So, for those of you who don't know, Polybius is an urban legend concerning a fictitious 1981 arcade game. The legend describes the game as part of a government-run, crowdsourced psychology experiment based in Portland, Oregon. Gameplay supposedly produced intense, psychoactive, and addictive effects to the player. These few publicly staged arcade machines were said to have been visited periodically by men in black for the purpose of data mining the machines and analyzing these effects. Allegedly, all of the Polybius arcade machines disappeared from the arcade market.
And it's kind of the Polybius um arcade machines. They were rumored to have been taken by these men in black as well. Um
Mm-hmm.
and then they just have never been seen again.
Right. The game was apparently popular to the point of addiction, as I mentioned briefly, and people would apparently line up around the game and like fights would break out over who would play next. That's how addictive it was to the mind. And so I think this, at least in the theory surrounding it, somehow relates to like MK Ultra.
Okay, Ultra. Oh, wait, what's that?
MK Ultra is like the experiments that the government did on like mental telepathy
Oh, really? I
and
didn't
that
know.
kind of stuff.
I've heard that term before, but I've never really knew what it was.
Yeah, I think it inspired Stranger Things.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. So I'm reading through like the Wikipedia article right now. And I'm seeing like that the word for the company that the company name that most people have seen or claim to have seen on the arcade cabinet. Or, I don't take German. Sinnes
Yeah.
Lotion. Sinnes Lotion.
Sinnesvolgen.
That might be more what it
Mm-hmm.
is. Um, apparently it's not actually like real German, but it's derived from the words of sine, senses, and lotion, lotion.
It
Which
was
means
actually
to
it was actually a campaign by Maybelline to sell more lotion.
um lotion, lochen probably is means to extinguish or to delete. So the company name means delete senses, um, and which is pretty cool. Um, wait, what? Apparently, Polybius was a Greek historian as well. Like
Mm-hmm.
there, huh?
He was born in Arcadia, which arcade.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. Uh, So, due to the viral and anecdotal nature of the legend, the exact origin is unclear. Some accounts claim that the legend originated in Usenet, circa 1994 or earlier, through offline word of mouth. The earliest confirmed record of the legend is an entry for the title added to arcade game resource coinop.org in February of 2000. Although coinop.org lists the page as originating in 1998, journalist Stuart Brown states that it appears to have defaulted to that time due to a database error caused by a lack of input. The entry mentions the name Polybius and a copyright date of 1981. The author of the entry claims in the description to be in possession of a ROM image of the game and to have extracted fragments of text from it, including 1981 Sinneslochen. The remainder of the information about the game is listed as unknown, and its About the Game section describes the bizarre rumors that make up the legend. So, I mean, the main theory is that the Polybius arcade cabinet was an experiment by the government to either spy on people or to collect information about people, like to see the impact of gaming or the impact of addictive gaming and something along those lines.
Unfortunately, many people believe that doesn't exist. Snopes.com claims that it doesn't exist. People like always cite Snopes.com as like an official source for stuff. I've always hated Snopes. Just because Snopes says that it's not an urban that it's not real doesn't mean it's not real.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know. It always bothered me that that's something that people do. I'm like, yeah, there's no official like evidence that it existed, but that doesn't mean it didn't exist.
Right. And a lot of people believe that it exists and have a memory of it, which is very reminiscent of like the Mandela effect.
Right.
Which the Mandela effect is also one of those things that really creeps me out. The idea of remembering something different from someone just makes you think about,
Right.
we're told that we had the same upbringing, but on a less than literal standpoint, did you literally see something different from what I saw when I was growing up? And why does our mind do that?
Right. It looks like part of the reason, part of okay, so here it is. So apparently this grew out of an urban legend, sorry, there's an urban legend that grew out of a mixture of influences in the 1980s. Um, Two players fell ill in Portland in the same day in 1981, one collapsing with a migraine headache after playing Tempest, and another suffering from stomach pain after playing Asteroids for 28 hours in a filmed attempt to break a world record at the same arcade. Durton Dunning. Oh, that must be like the place it was at. Records. Oh, it's the person. Records that the Federal Bureau of Investigation raided several video game arcades in the area just 10 days later, where owners were suspected of using the machines for gambling, and led up to the raid involved FBI agents monitoring arcade cabinets for signs of tampering and recording high scores. Dunning suggests that these two events were combined in an urban legend about government-monitored arcade machines making players ill. He believes that such a myth must have been established by 1984 and that it influenced the plot of the film The Last Starfighter. Dunning considers Sinneslochen to be the kind of name that a non-German speaker would generate if they tried to create a compound world using an English to German dictionary. And like, okay, that makes sense. If all that's factual, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
There has been a couple Polybius games that have been created since this rumor has started as well. The one for PlayStation 4 doesn't try to attempt to reproduce the alleged gameplay. I think the one on PC does too. Yeah,
Yeah,
this
the
is
PC one is designed to like be a interpretation of what it could have been.
right.
So that pretty much wraps it up for the conspiracy theories that we've had
Yeah,
to talk about today. These are more well-known conspiracy theories,
yeah.
but
These of you probably heard about quite a few of these, but it's a pretty interesting topic, and you could go down a well, you could- you could go down a rabbit hole for hours talking about stuff
right.
like this.
And I think the most interesting thing about these is like the mass hysteria, I guess.
Right.
How many people believe that they saw the Polybius arcade cabinet because they heard about it, and just like as soon as they heard about it, like say there's a certain game that they forgot what it was called. It could be Metroid or whatever, right?
Hmm.
And then you hear about
Probably
Polybius
asteroids, honestly. Everything
asteroids.
that I've
Yeah.
everything that I've seen seems to like point to it being like an asteroids clone with like
Right.
I forgot what it's called, like the single point like perspective.
Right. But then but then someone who forgets the name of something like that, they hear about Polybius, they read about it, and they're like, "Wait, I saw that."
Right.
So like, how much of it is that with the mass
Like even
hysteria?
even even now, like I'm thinking about it, and like I'm like, have I ever seen a Polybius arcade cabinet? Even though,
Right.
according
It sounds
according to
like
the
you could
legend,
just
they've been gone
yeah,
since
you
1981.
could just think and like remember being in an arcade and being like, that looks like it was in the corner of that arcade that I went
Right.
to
Like I
as a
can
kid.
imagine that arcade cabinet.
Right. So that's a lot of it. Same thing with the Mario 64 thing. It's like how much of that is just like believing what you hear.
Right.
And yeah, like mass hysteria. Um, I think it's interesting the way that our culture is like, or the not even our culture, but the way that our minds can make things up.
Right.
The way that we can invent Herobrine to fill the endless void of space that is in front of you when you play Minecraft.
Or the Madden curse explaining why players just simply are declining after their peak.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Or the Berserk, the whatever daily
Hmm.
thing. He just played too many video games, probably.
Yeah, got a little too excited. So I'd like to leave all of you with a story, another story.
Okay,
I think it'd be fun.
I'm excited.
Make sure you haven't heard of it. Have you ever heard of Who Are You Running From?
No, I'm kind of scared
I'll
now,
tell the
though.
story. The Game Boy camera was seen as a revolutionary piece of technology when it first hit shelves in 1998. The idea that you could take real pictures with your Game Boy, and print them no less, was unthinkable at the time. Tons of kids rushed to stores to buy the world's smallest digital camera to go with their Game Boy Color, blissfully unaware of what to expect from the game that came with it. The game came with several mini-games aside from the typical simple picture editing software. You could even play a Space Invaders type game with your picture as the final boss. The main menu interface included the options shoot, view, and play. If the player chose to shoot on the interface, he or she would be greeted by a screen that resembles some sort of strange JRPG. More options would appear on this screen, such as shoot, items, magic, check, and run. If the run option was selected, a strangely distorted face would appear on the screen. The face appears to be doodled on, with fake hair, lips, eyebrows, and eyes crudely drawn over a man's face. A black star is seen to be imprinted on the face's forehead. The man in the photo seems to be posing with one finger over his mouth, as if telling someone to shush. The picture comes with a caption as well, which reads, "Who are you running from?" In the American version of the game, two other faces can randomly appear throughout the game. One face seems to be of a man whose face has also been drawn on. He has been given female hair, and a bizarre wave symbol has been drawn on his forehead. The other face was obviously female, with artificial eyes and drawn pigtails. This face had the same wave symbol drawn onto her forehead. These faces were occasionally accompanied by the same eerie inquiry, "Who are you running from?" The Japanese version of the game had two additional faces that would pop up at random intervals while playing. The first face seems to be a male, with scribbled eyes and an unnerving smile. It is unclear whether or not the hair on this face is real, as the resolution is extremely low. The face also had waves drawn onto its forehead. The final face is seemingly of a man with a drawn scowl and cartoonishly long hair. The eyes of this face are also doodled, as well as most of the other features on the face. This face is the only one without a symbol on its forehead, and is also the only face without a devilish synthetic smile. Another more subtle difference is that this picture seems to have been taken in a different location than all the others. The previous faces all have nothing but a white backdrop, but this one seems to have some sort of object in the background. It is believed that these pictures are the result of a kidnapping done by a strange cult. The figure with a black straw drawn on its forehead is said to be the leader of the group, while the ones with waves were said to be the disciples. The face without any symbols and the dark scowl is believed to be the unlucky victim. It is unclear what the condition of the victim is in the photograph, or how these pictures managed to be included in the game. The motive of the cult is also unclear, as no body that resembled the victim was ever recovered.
Now, is this a theory, or is this like something that actually happens in the... Okay, goodbye. Okay, goodbye. All right. I guess that's it for this episode of GCUA, because there goes Jake into the void. Well, thank you all so much for listening and watching. It's been a fun episode.
Thanks for watching. That's a true story, by the way.
Is it true? Great. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. Have a happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween, motherfuckers! Bye!
Yeah!